Welcome back to the Curtain Call radio show series. Our show this May is The Last Comedienne. The characters are Brock Benton, played by Michael Daleiden, Eleanor Brown, played by Hailey Zurn, Mercedes Ellington, played by Heather Jenness, and Fanny Foote, played by Michelle Sobieck. Artwork by Hailey Zurn, directed and edited by Bill Wencl. Now please sit back, relax, and enjoy The Last Comedienne by Chris McKerracher.
Good evening to everyone in our studio audience, and to all the folks watching at home in America and all over the world. I'm your host, Brock Benton, and this is the National Comedienne Joke-Off. After our most grueling season yet, we are down to 3 finalists, one of whom will be our champion, and walking away with their grand prize of $100,000. This year's finalists: Eleanor Brown, the dark horse, who has come from out of nowhere to make it to the finals in her first year on the show. Mercedes Ellington, who has placed in the top 3 in each of the last 4 years without ever capturing that elusive grand prize. Will this be her year? And finally, Fanny Foote, or Granny Fanny as she come to know by the folks out here in the studio audience, who has made her way to the final 3 on our show after decades on the national stand-up circuit. Let's go meet our talented ladies, but first, a word from our sponsors.
Oh my, I am so nervous. I never expected to be in the green room waiting to go on for nationals. How can you appear so calm?
You get used to it. The first time I was over the moon. Not quite so much the second time. Over the rainbow, maybe. By the third time, I was over the hill, and now I'm just so over it all.
Now, dear, you surely must realize what an honor it is to be in the final 3. Never mind being on the best-paid comedy circuit in the industry. Millions of people have been watching us all year.
Look.
What a compliment.
I only do this for the paycheck at the end. I hate performing, but I've never been able to hack the 9-to-5 job. If I get decent pay, like, say, $100,000, I can set myself up with this little business of my own and get out of this debasing racket.
Debasing? What do you mean? People pay good money for us to make them feel good, to give them an escape from their routines in their lives, to make them happy.
Oh my, you make us sound like hookers.
I agree. My point exactly.
Now, I was just joking, dear. The only hooking I've ever tried involved making a hideously ugly wall hanging. No, I am proud to supplement my income with circuit gigs at my age. I will admit, though, that my medicine is very expensive, and as much as I love performing, the benefits suck worse than a clogged vacuum. If I won, it would be enough money I could retire knowing I could afford my prescriptions for as long as I needed them.
I feel kind of shallow. If I would win, I would just, put the money into my career. I would be able to travel to bigger gigs and get enough publicity to become a household name like Lucille Ball or Carol Burnett. After that, the sky's the limit. But being a comic is all I want to do. It's all I've ever wanted to be.
Very touching, but I'm not impressed. Every woman I've ever seen come through here had some sort of sob story or another. I really could care less about what your problems are. Because if I don't win this year, I am gonna lose it. You just hit the circuit. You need to pay some dues.
Without putting too fine a point on it, what happened in the past years doesn't matter a fig. The audience has to pick one of us, and nothing says that they will factor in if anyone has paid any dues or not.
Maybe we should agree to split the winnings, no matter who wins. 33 grand would come in handy, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Like I would trust either of you to follow through if I lose. I'm gonna win this sucker and let you two fight over the crown next year.
Maybe they're right. Maybe you can estimate someone's trustworthiness by how trusting they are.
Trusting people only gets you hurt.
Not being able to trust anyone hurts all the time, though. The hurt never goes away.
What do you know about being hurt?
No one has a monopoly on pain, Mercedes. Everyone's been hurt.
Try losing your husband after 60 years of marriage.
Please, Fanny, spare me. You even joke about it.
Of course I do. We humans have always made jokes about failure and death. What scares and hurts us the most? It's like whistling past the graveyard. Making fun of our fears makes them lose their power over us.
Welcome back to the National Comedienne Joke-Off. Let's kick tonight off with a bang. We'll get started right away with our first contestant, the lovely, the talented Miss Eleanor Brown.
Thank you for that wonderful applause. My name is Eleanor Brown, and my spirit animal is a deluxe pizza. I actually joined a dating site, but instead of meeting new exciting singles, you hook up with new kinds of pizza. That's not to say I'm not into fitness. I am. Like fitting this giant piece of pizza in my mouth. Oh yeah, I love to eat. You can hardly tell, I bet. But being in love with food instead of fools is no guarantee of avoiding heartbreak. For example, I discovered the Pringles holder on the stationary bike was actually for a water bottle. That was a real heartbreak. Or what about people who say food for thought, but then don't give you any food? Is that cruel or what? I love fast food a lot. I love it so much. When I'm at a Subway restaurant and they ask me if I like it toasted, I would say yes. Then raise the fountain beverage to my sandwich. I've done a lot of research on eating. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. That's why I have several. I also had a vegan lunch today. It was a Snickers bar and an orange Slurpee. Of course, I'm on a diet. I've been on a diet since I was old enough to hate myself. In fact, right now, I am so desperate, I am on 2 diets. Just one doesn't give me enough food. I'm also trying to lower carbs, mostly lowering them into my mouth, however. I hate to admit it, but if you measure me in serving sizes, I'm a family of 4. My last boyfriend tried to help me by locking the fridge at night. I did my exercise, trying to break out. Of course, my weight isn't just from poor eating habits. In fact, when I sit around the house on the weekend, I like to wear a red cape because I am super lazy. In fact, I was in an accident. I was walking in an intersection, was rear-ended by a guy with a motorized shopping cart. It was at the intersection of housewares and linens in Walmart. The stupid jerk just about busted my kneecap. So I'm at the doctor's and I'm like, "How bad is it, doc?" And he says, "Well, you'll never run again." And I'm all, so basically the same. I mean, I even hired someone to walk my Fitbit. I did buy an exercise bike a few years ago. I almost racked up a kilometer on it until I lost it under a pile of laundry. The best workout I ever got from it was hauling it out to the curb during cleanup week. I decided to get serious about my weight and went back to the doctor about it. He said I was retaining water. He said from the size of me, it might be Lake Superior. So I joined the gym, but it was so confusing. And at the check-in counter, there was a sign that says, "Please wear loose clothing." And I was sitting there thinking, if my clothing was loose, I wouldn't even be here. Then I got in some exercise class run by this impossibly thin, perky, super positive young woman. You know the type. I hated her instantly. Everybody form a circle, she said. I told her I had already formed a circle. That's why I was here. I got really motivated from watching the last Olympics on TV, though. The athletes were so inspiring. I decided to try out for the 100-meter dash. Last week, I set a new personal record. 23 meters. I figure if all this exercising doesn't make me thinner, I'll just get a head-to-toe tattoo of a really skinny person. Or maybe not. There are lots of good things about carrying a few extra pounds. For one thing, fat is like Botox for poor folks. Pudgy people don't wrinkle as much. Speaking of wrinkles, I also don't have to iron my t-shirts, as the wrinkles come right out when I stretch the shirt over my torso. I'm kidding. Like I would ever iron clothes again. Last time I tried, I was ironing away like mad when the phone rang. I got third-degree burns on my ear. I guess I'm just not the domestic type. The only thing I make for supper is reservations. Thank you very much, everyone. You were fantastic.
What a great performance. Let's have another round of applause for Eleanor Brown. She certainly has a great future in stand-up no matter which way the vote goes. Up next, however, we have a real crowd favorite you will just love. But first, we have to pay some bills with these messages from our sponsors.
Great job, Eleanor. What a wonderful act you've developed.
Oh, Granny, you're so sweet.
Oh, God. It was really good.
Thank you?
I'm gonna be another Susan Lucci.
Who?
Remember Susan Lucci from that soap All My Children? Nominated Best Actress in a Daytime Soap like 1,000,000 times without ever winning? At least she was filthy rich.
Actually, Miss Lucci won in 1999 with her 18th nomination.
I am not staying in the circuit for 18 years. It kills you like a slow poison. We just roll out our pain for all to see and hope the mob approves. And we live and we die by the whims of that mob.
Why, you ungrateful...
Let me just intercede here, Eleanor. Look, Mercedes, we understand you must be terribly frustrated with not winning for the last 4 years. But how do you think I feel? I've been standing in front of the bricks even longer than you.
You have? I didn't know that.
How I envied you being in the final 3 year after year, when I would bust my butt for nothing. Enough with the pity party. You haven't even gone on yet. You still have just as much chance of winning as either of us.
You know what? Making it to the final 3 and knocking it out of the park tonight is a memory I will always cherish. No matter how it turns out. Forget the $100,000. I feel like $1,000,000 right now. Hearing people laugh at something you said is the sweetest sound in the universe.
Well, you can have the $1,000,000. I'll take the measly $100,000.
Was it ever fun for you?
No, not really. People always laughed at my sarcastic comments growing up, and when I was getting hard up, it was either try stand-up or pole dancing, and past pole dancing. I watched a few circuit shows, and it didn't really look that hard. You know, I wasn't even surprised by my success, but just because you're good at something doesn't mean you like doing it.
Just because you're good at something, it doesn't mean you like doing it. I have to admit I've used those exact words with my husband, but I would rather not say what we were discussing.
Oh my, that was so funny.
Thanks, Fanny. I needed that.
I do understand what you're saying, though. It must be hell for you to do it for the reasons you do. I can't imagine how hollow the whole experience must be from your standpoint.
Maybe Mercedes is onto something, though. Have you ever died out there, Granny? Probably not. You're so good.
Are you kidding? I crashed and burned lots of times, especially at the beginning. Going back on stage after the first time was the hardest thing I have ever had to do.
Who cares if they laugh, as long as you get paid either way? We all know sometimes audiences seem more like oil paintings. It's not my fault if they don't like my material.
Oh, yeah. I once did a private gig for the Lion Clubs. Or Elks, maybe? Some animal. Anyway, these old fuds, sorry, Granny, were stiffer than a crowd of cadavers. I swear. Though afterwards, they were very complimentary and said that it was all they could do not to laugh at my stories.
Exactly. You can't measure your own self-worth by how much the audience laughed or not at any given night. That road is to booze or to drugs to make yourself feel better. Trust me, I know. I've seen a lot of gals on the circuit take that path. It's not pretty.
Oh my gosh, yes. So sad. I've been lucky to have had a long stretch of great crowds. The circuit isn't so bad. People know exactly what they're coming for and laugh just to make sure they feel they got their money's worth.
The 2-drink minimum helps.
Oh yeah, drunk crowds are great, but not if they're too drunk. Well, one time
Thanks for tuning in once again to the National Comedienne Joke-Off. Up next, we have a true legend on the circuit. She's loved by audiences and fellow comics alike. Please welcome Granny Fanny Foote.
Hello, everyone. My name is Fanny Foote. I realize that's 2 body parts, sort of like bum hip. But you can just call me Granny. I had such a time getting here. I was driving in from out of town and took a shortcut down this dirt road. Next thing you know, it got really foggy. Suddenly, there was a tree right in front of me. I cranked the wheel to the left. Then there was another tree, so I cranked the wheel to the right. And then another tree. Then I realized it was just my air freshener. I know, that's kind of an old joke I just happened to borrow. Actually, some people say I'm a plagiarist. That's their words, not mine. So, just to share a little about myself, I am a widow, married for over 60 years. Not that we were all that devoted to each other, but we are both terribly forgetful, and neither of us could remember to call a lawyer. We got married way too early, too. I wish now I had stayed in school instead. By now, I would be in grade 71. It seemed the longer we were married, the slower Walter would drive. Eventually, even cyclists would pass us. Bugs would crash into our back windshield. They would be like, whoa, splat. I remember we went to the doctor together just before he passed on. The doctor said, "You know, Mr. Foote, although you're not in terrible shape, you're getting older now. You may want to start to make peace with the big guy upstairs." "Oh, me and the big guy are on great terms," he said. "When I get up to pee at night, he turns on the light for me, and when I'm done, he shuts the light off again." When the doctor asked me about that, I just told him, "Oh, that old fool. He's been peeing in the fridge again." Sorry, I stopped to think and forgot to start again. Oh, yes, I was telling you about Walter. He had a terrible addiction to the hokey pokey, but he turned himself around. Walter also had an irrational fear of speed bumps, but he was slowly getting over it. Poor Walter was so gullible. He once sent a donation to the Salvation Navy. I remember when Walter would complain because we weren't having enough sex to his liking. He said he was thinking of hiring a hooker he saw advertised in the classifieds. $150 an hour. I told him I hoped she was good at fractions. like winter, but Walter hated it. When it was snowing like crazy, it would break my heart to see his face pressed up against the window looking so sad. I would feel so bad for him, I'd almost let him in before the driveway was shoveled. I remember being pregnant with little Oscar. Walter went to prenatal classes so he could coach me. Like you can coach a woman in labor. I can tell you professional athletes sure as heck don't scream at their coaches that way. At least he knew where he could stick those ice chips. Pregnancy made me crazy for chicken. I couldn't get enough of it. I ate so much chicken. I almost named little Oscar Brock. Sorry, Brock, I couldn't resist. One good thing about Walter, I had him trained like Pavlov's dog. Whenever I'd kick him, he'd stop snoring. I once told Walter I believed his doubting my beliefs caused my chronic pain to flare up. He said chronic pain doesn't actually work that way, and I would be like, ow, ow, stop! After I lost Walter, I decided to join a dating site because my voice of reason blocked me years ago. I wasn't getting any hits on my profile, so I showed it my girlfriend. She said I shouldn't include a picture, or if I'm going to show a pic, I should put some clothes on. I thought the boys would like it if I showed a new wrinkle now and again. Of course, my grandkids hate it when I share my profile on their Facebook. By the way, speaking of grandkids, if you want to experience what it's like to owe a loan shark, borrow $1 from an 8-year-old. Yes, lack of money is just one of my problems. I'm not sure how many problems I have, though, because poor math skills is one of my problems. Anyway, that's my time, folks. You have been so lovely. Thank you.
Oh, that was a real treat from our granny, wasn't it? Let's give her another big hand.
Oh, Granny, that was so awesome. They loved it.
Seriously, Fanny, that air freshener bit? Do you know how old that is?
Sounds like it was new to them. What a great crowd.
I thought so too. You're lucky going last, Mercedes. We've warmed them up for you.
Yeah, right. I bet they're all trying to decide between you two and won't even listen to me. Wish I would have gone first. Maybe I would have had a chance.
Really, Mercedes, I don't think you'll wow anyone with a defeatist attitude like that. I want to win the dough as much as anybody, but from my perspective, I have a way better chance if you think you've already lost. Maybe actually care about this audience for once. Don't just recite jokes. Engage with them. It does make a difference.
Why the pep talk? If I win, you'll still be struggling to buy your medications. Why do you care?
Because I will always love the feeling of laughs and the applause. If I had to do the circuit gigs till I die, so be it. Did you ever see Phyllis Diller retire? Diamonds are a girl's best friend. How about Joan Rivers?
Those old hags looked pathetic after a while.
Their fans didn't think so. The love of loyal friends kept them going.
Those of us on the circuit not addicted to alcohol or drugs are addicted to the crowd busting a gut. I would do it for nothing. I will manage with my meds one way or another. I just want you to connect with the crowd and see the difference it makes to your own psyche than just blabbing funny things to say. You might even knock them dead.
It might make it more fun for you, if nothing else. Don't underestimate the power of fun. I want to win this thing more than I've ever wanted anything. But I also know if I don't get it this year, I'll probably have another chance next season. I genuinely wish you luck.
You know, the other girls, all those other years, weren't like you two. I have a lot to think about.
Well, you better think about it pretty darn quickly. I'm sure the ads are about done.
Welcome back once again to the National Comedienne Joke-Off. My name is Brock Benton, and we now present our final performer of the evening. She's been a popular addition to our show for the last 4 seasons with her unique, hilarious comedic stylings. Ladies and gentlemen, you know her, you love her. Please welcome Mercedes Ellington.
Hi, everyone. How you doing? Me? I'm great. You know how I know I'm great? Everywhere I go, people say, oh, great. So it must be true, right? Are we having fun yet? Yeah, those first 2 ladies were great, weren't they? I'm Mercedes Ellington, and I think the world is moving way too fast for me. How many of you agree? You want proof? Okay, consider this. Future Shop is now in the past. I mean, what the heck? They had such amazing products, too. I mean, I heard they even sold a microwave fireplace. Yeah, you could have this nice, relaxing evening in front of the fire in only 12 minutes. Future Shop had a microwave even so powerful that it could cook so fast, if you put instant coffee in it, you would actually travel back in time. I'm so glad to be here safe. I had to take this discount airline because I know it was a no-frills flight, because when the stewardess was doing her safety routine, she said, in the event of lack of oxygen from sudden depressurization, simply reach up and make the sign of the cross. Yeah, it kind of reminded me of my old Chevette, which had this manual airbag. Yeah, manual. It was this tube hanging down, and you would hyperventilate into it when you're about to crash. I'll share a little of my background here. First of all, I was born into sorry circumstances. Yeah, both my parents were sorry the moment they saw me. I never had a stepdad, but I had a stepladder. You know, that's the ladder you get when your first ladder goes for cigarettes and doesn't come back, and your mom has to go find a new ladder. Growing up in my situation, it was tough, but then I had a life-changing experience. Sadly, I had another one and then changed it back. Yeah, I managed to find coping strategies, though. My favorite aromatherapy scent is model airplane glue. Yeah, it's way safer than hot melt glue. That's the road to ruin and really super clogged nostrils. Yeah, I just don't flirt with disaster. I invite it back to my place for drinks. Actually, the doc says I drink more than my weight should allow, so now I'm on this new diet to gain a few more pounds. Pretty smart, huh? But you think that gaining weight would be pretty simple. Just hang around a bunch of pot smokers, because they always have snacks on them. Always. Unfortunately, with stoners, though, you never are real sure how long a cheeseburger has been in their pocket. I saw 2 stoners walking along the railroad tracks, and one of them said, "Man, this is one long staircase." The other one said, "Yeah, but it's the low handrail that's killing me." Drugs are so bad for you. I never, ever, ever, ever do them, except wine. My body is a temple, and I have a rule. No cheap wine in the temple. I describe myself as an oenologist. Well, because the term wine connoisseur is not pretentious enough. This Merlot offers wisps of oak and honey with a hint of flatulence. Wine tasting is just so absurd. Even pop has its absurdities. So if our nation is so divided by the Pepsi versus Coke debate, they aren't even allowed to be in the same restaurant together. How can countries hope to get along? And politicians don't hope. You know, when was the last time you actually went, thank God that guy was elected? I mean, have you ever? Politics is, as they say, show business for ugly people. The word politics comes from Latin. Yeah, the prefix poly means many, and ticks are, of course, blood-sucking parasites. Speaking of criminal organizations, I just read organized crime now has a banking app on iTunes. It's called Pay Up, Pal. It's so convenient. The guys that bust your kneecaps come right to your door. I love shopping from home. Anyone else? I'm so addicted to it. I even DVR infomercials. Yeah. All those incredible bargains. Gosh, they're bankrupting me though. I'm such a sucker too. I bought one of those Hoover steam scrub machines for those hard to reach places. They claim it's gentle on surfaces, but it stings like hell. But it's not as bad as those Lysol wipes though. Thanks to my shopping addiction, I am flat broke. I am so broke. I needed laser eye surgery, but couldn't afford it, so I tried taser eye surgery. Hurt like hell. Yeah, now my eye twitches when I make toast. Thanks so much. You guys have been such a great crowd.
Oh, that was fantastic. Let's have another hand for Mercedes Ellington. Okay, we will now have all the contestants come on stage as we call for the vote. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we will now learn, with your help and applause, who will be crowned winner of Season 5 of the National Comedienne Joke-Off and receive the $100,000 grand prize. Ladies, as I call your name, please step forward. First of all, let's hear it for Eleanor Brown. Oh, wow, what a great response. Now, Granny Fanny Foote. Oh, another great response. And now, Mercedes Ellington. Well, this is an unprecedented event. A three-way tie! We will just have to determine the winner the old-fashioned way with the National Comedienne Joke-Off app on your smartphone. Folks in the audience, you have 1 minute to download the app. Select a unique username and password. Make your way through 3 different sets of user authentication and then vote to your favorite performer tonight. Let's start right now. Well, the votes have come in, and with 36% of the vote, the winner of the grand prize of $100,000, as well as the title of champion of the 2020 National Comedienne Joke-Off is Mercedes Ellington! Hey, what a great show. What a great season. Thanks for joining me for the 2020 National Comedienne Joke-Off. I've been Brock Benton. Good night, everybody.
Thank you for listening to The Last Comedienne. A few announcements before you go. First, if you have enjoyed this radio show and want to be a part of it, you can. Go ahead to www.CurtainCallTheater.net and fill out the form there. Also, as many of you know, we have had to cancel our summer show, Newsies, due to COVID-19. Because of this, we are working to make our cabaret this year even more special and a greater celebration of our community. If you would like to be in our cabaret, the form can also be found on our website, which is again www.CurtainCallTheater.net. And if you have any questions, you can send us an email at webmaster@CurtainCallTheater.net. All of this is theater with an R-E. If you have enjoyed this show and want to donate to keep it going, that can also be found on our ticketing website or our homepage. A special thank you to our producer, Bill Wencl, for all of his hard work coordinating these radio shows, and to all the actors who make these possible. And thank you to all of you for listening. We will see you back here next month for the comedy, Musical Theater Geeks.